Gold Terra Resource, ticker YGT, is hunting for gold in the Canadian Northwest Territories and already has been pretty successful. Today, we want to hear from CEO Gerald Panneton what his plans are to grow the known resources even further and where he sees the most potential to do so, among other things. Welcome, Gerald.
Good morning, Björn.
Gerald, before we get into the details of the pretty exciting Gold Terra project, let's talk about location. Because of German investors here, Canadian Northwest Territories, they probably think of very remote places. That's not really the case here, though, right?
Well, it's somewhat true that the Northwest Territory is remotely further away than, say, Toronto or Val-d'Or, Timmins, Red Lake, and the known gold camp of Canada. But I think what's very important about Yellowknife is that there's a road from Edmonton you can drive all the way to the end, and basically you're getting into Yellowknife. And Yellowknife is a 20,000 people town. So you're in town. You got all the infrastructures. 20,000 people, a mining town with past producing mine. So it's very knowledgeable and, of course, has a lot of skilled workers.
Which is always very important. And I'm going to say never has been more important now than there's always people looking for talent. Okay, so we know this is remote, but not that remote, and with good infrastructure. Let's talk about the focus of your work there. I think for this year, at least, it's the Con Mine option property.
Yeah,
please.
Just to make it quick, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
To make it sound like a terminology, it's remote, but accessible with infrastructures.
Yeah.
Plenty of it. Con Mine, yes, the Con Mine, Björn, it's been the core of our work over the last couple of years. When I joined 3 years ago, one of my first focus mandate was to evaluate the property, which I did, of course, before joining. And I saw a lot of potential. What I think is very important about Gold Terra's position in Yellowknife is that, yes, we have 800 square kilometers, but we also cover the Campbell Shear over 70 kilometers. One part was missing, the Con Mine. The Con Mine was producing gold up to about 2003, when it shut down, when gold was about $325 gold. And so, of course, there's reserves still left on the mine, and there's also infrastructures. And there was a tremendous potential at depth and to the south of the mine. And that's exactly what we've been exploring over the last couple of years.
Okay, so I think you acquired the mine, or the option to acquire the mine comes from Newmont. Can you just give us a quick reminder of what you have to do to take full possession of the Con Mine?
To get 100% interest, which was a long negotiation with Newmont, we had to satisfy a lot of different conditions, actually pre-agreement, like the type of management we are we serious? Look, I built 3 gold mines. One of my directors was senior VP at Barrick for many years, Mr. Louis Dion. So we have a very experimented, I would call it tier 1 team management and directors in the junior space. And of course, having built so many mines, we know exactly what it entails. Whatever you build it, prove it, and then, of course, close it. Newmont condition to earn 100% were negotiated for a deal that is 4 years. So we're only in the second year of that deal. It was signed in November 2021. And with the condition to acquire the property is basically spend $8 million. We're currently at $7 million. And of course, we expect to reach that $8 million condition this year. So it's not a minimum requirement that is difficult. And we have to find 1.5 million ounces of gold in all categories, which means inferred, indicated, and measured. And plus, if we find, say, 1.5 to 2 million ounces, we then inherit of the 650,000 ounces that is left in the mine. So we end up with a project which will be 2.5 million ounces very quickly. On top of the 1.2 million ounces we have outside of town, which is about 20 kilometers north of town. So you're looking at a company that could be in the range of 4 to 5 million ounces in a very short term. The only slowdown we have is the current market. Give me more money and I'll get you 5 million ounces faster. Look, if people know what I come from, and I can tell you a little bit about the Detour story, because I was the founder, CEO for 8 years, and I'm the one who took the project from 1 million ounces to 16 in reserve and 30 million ounces in resource. And today is the largest Canadian gold mine. We know exactly, our team, what is the potential in Yellowknife along the Campbell Shear. And that's the reason we believe in continuing exploring the Campbell Shear and other satellite deposit. And with time and money, there's no question in my mind we'll be over 5 million ounces.
Yeah, well, that's certainly a number we like to hear. 5 million ounces is a substantial, very substantial mine, or would be a very substantial mine there. It could go for, I don't know, what if you had those 5 million ounces, what would you aim for in production? Like a 200,000 ounces a year, something like that?
We currently have a plan that could be released at the end of the year via a PEA, but we're already working internally to a scenario that will encompass about 150,000 ounces of gold a year for the first 5 to 10 years, with the Con mine and, of course, the Crestaurum deposit, which will be the first deposit north of town that we would be putting back in production. You got to have a strategy, right? Our strategy is simple. Find 2 million ounces on the Con mine. Then the 1.2 million ounces north of town becomes more valuable. And keep exploring and adding. So with 2 million ounces on the Con mine, 1.2 and even more, because we still have a lot of ground to cover to the north, we could be a producing mine for 150, 200,000 ounces for the next 10 to 15 years. There's definitely no doubt in my mind that this is reachable.
But that's even if it all goes to plan, or even if you would get all the money you ever needed, it would still take a bit of time from now on. Of course, it would go faster if you had more money. That goes without saying. But for now, for the next couple of weeks, month, you announced your first winter drill program. I think 8,000 meters, 20 drill holes, something like that. Can you just get into a bit more detail what this program specifically is for?
So we have a program in 2023, which is based on 2 phases of drilling. The first phase was a winter program south of the mine in an area which we felt had great potential. Already in September, we released our first resource on the Con mine, which is about 540,000 ounces altogether at about 8 grams, 7 to 8 gram material at the 3.5 gram cutoff grade. We felt that there is more ground to be explored south of the mine between, say, surface and 500 meters vertical, 600 meters vertical. And so we feel that we can probably get over 1 million ounces with those zones near surface that will be accessible very quickly in a scenario of putting back the mine in production from surface, using a ram, using C1 shaft, for example, on the Con mine. We also have a second panel, which is going down deep below the mine, which is a program of about 3,000 to 4,000 meters of drilling. And this program will be starting in March. We currently have completed some hole on the surface ground. We've been drilling since January 15, so we're almost 5 weeks into our program. And we feel we have very good visual success so far on the Campbell Shear. And hopefully we're going to be able to support that with the assay result. And we're going to have continues from now on until we finish this program at surface. And while the deep program will start in March and carry on for the rest of the year. Look, if money was not an objection or a hurdle in our scenario, I would have 2 to 3 rigs running. But we have the market we have. We have to adapt to the current market. People are on the sideline. They're not willing to invest. We can reach and get some traction with some flow-through money. But we also feel that at the valuation we have, 1.8 million ounces, $15 US an ounce, this is a bargain.
Well, it certainly seems so. And if you said, if people in this market would be interested at all in buying at the moment, it certainly should be considered a bargain. Now, let's take a step to the larger picture, so to speak. We talked about the con mine. We see where you're going with that. Of course, you've got your work cut out there. You don't have the funds to go after all 70 kilometers of shear zone there, but as you said, but are there plans for the longer term future then to go after the whole district, so to speak, because it's district size, right?
Of course. Last year we had enough money to do a smaller program north of town, which actually is a good approach for us. And this year we're not going back on this area, which is basically the Mispikul area or Samoto area. We have a high grade discovery. We actually did about 6,000 meters in a very systematic approach last winter, over approximately 600 meters of strike length, down to about 300 meters vertical. And we hit 3 valuable quartz vein systems that carry somewhere between half an ounce to an ounce over 3 meters in width, which will be perfectly similar to the Discovery mine, which mined 1 million ounces at 30 grams. So we firmly believe that the Mispikul area could be the next 1 million ounces to be found on the property. I don't think it's a 5 million ounces target on its own. It's kind of like an offshoot from the Campbell Shear, but it's 2 very good vein systems. One of them is 30 grams over 3 meters, and we only have 1 hole in it. It's like a discovery hole with no follow-up. So if I had plenty of money, we would have a program again this year on the winter, because it's easier to drill in the winter. But we're going to miss this window just because the funds are not there to support a multi-drill program. So we have to focus on our priority number 1, con mine, the Campbell Shear, where we definitely have the potential to find 3 to 5 million ounces.
Okay. Well, we touched upon that. You said it already, but could you give us before we get the interview too long, can give us in your opinion, why right now at this point in time might be a good time to have a closer look at Gold Terra?
Investors should look at different things when they invest. I think currently when the gold window or the gold sentiment is negative, it's a good time to buy, because everything is cheap. Now, when you look at, say, 25 or 50 companies, you need to rate them. You need to rate them from geopolitical environment. You need to rate them for the team that delivers. Look, our team, or myself, has built 3 gold mines so far. 2 when my time was during Barrick Gold. I spent 12 years at Barrick Gold. Louis Dion spent most of his career at Barrick Gold, more than 25 years. Both of us know how to build mine. We did Detour Lake in 6 years, from IPO to gold production, raising $2.6 billion in a very different market. Today, the market is very different, but the valuation is lower than what I paid for when I bought Detour Lake. So if you believe that our valuation at $15 an ounce, that the management is there to deliver, that management also has a skin in the game. I don't have any stock option, but I do have quite a lot of dollars invested in the companies. 6 million share, all paid in cash. So you have to realize how much value there is in Gold Terra to look how depreciated it is today, probably as other company. So now your choice is about location, management, potential. If potential is there to find more, this is where you're going to make more money. And that's why I'm there. Okay.
Well, thank you very much. That's a great closing remark. And we'll touch base later on this year, perhaps after the first set of drill result comes in. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.